Good Thursday morning, everybody. It's 9:38 on March the 17th. Just recording this video to capture some live trades today and to drop some commentary around the events that transpire in today's session. So yesterday, as a backdrop, to give you some context, was FOMC day. You can see from yesterday's price action, we're looking at the SPY here. We had a big pop at the 2 o'clock open Fed meeting, or when they released the announcement. Market's gap, basically shot up, and usually what transpires is that there's a good opportunity to oftentimes short or fade the initial reaction. So if the market went up yesterday, then today, oftentimes you'd be smart to try to fade the initial reaction, because most people who play the initial reaction oftentimes reposition themselves after the reaction, after there's some time to digest what actually came out. You may turn to reposition yourself. So in this case today, the SPY yesterday actually had an unfilled gap at 203.78, which was all the way up here, and it had been an unfilled gap for quite some time, and it took the market a while to eventually fill that gap, but it did, right? It filled that gap. This unfilled gap was created way back in December the 31st, so it's been close to 3 months since this gap has been unopened, and it took the Fed meeting to do it, right? So the Fed announcement came out, markets rocketed up, filled that gap. As you can see here, here's the market's now breaking down. So let's take a look here at the VIX here. We may be seeing the VIX have an opportunity here to break out of its sort of a downtrend right now in terms of today's session, and this would be an opportunity that I'd be looking at because it fits right in alignment with my idea that we're going to be trying to fade the initial reaction. So if the VIX can rally here, pop above out of its declining trend line, above its opening range high, then that would get me interested, especially if there's some volume behind the move. And right now it looks like we have some volume begin to accompany it. So that's very productive, and looking to get long that if it sets up properly. Overall day, again, oil has rallied a bit in the overnight session or the early session. So right now we have the industrials, basic materials, and energy leading, and what's trailing right now is healthcare, financials, and utilities. So let's keep our eye on that. Let's see if we can get long VIX here shortly. All right, quick update. So I was stalking the VIX there, but the VIX did not set up. So if you take a look at the VIX, we've now entered into a bit of a channel here, and waiting for it to break out of this channel, the green and the red lines. If it breaks below the red here, I think there's an opportunity for the VIX to fall down some more. However, right now it's you got some buyers stepping in there. Alternatively, on the XIV, it's right at its opening range, near the opening range highs here. It really has to clear above these green lines. If you look at the SPY, the ES is the same thing. I was using the SPY as a proxy, but we broke out of its opening ranges, and now we have a bit of support that has not become resistance. So I want to see how it interacts with these levels here, if it can break above that. So long as it cannot break above these opening range lows, the bias is going to be continuing to the downside, right? Your bias has to be to the downside at this point here. So the XIV, even though it looks like it's consolidating near the top end of its range here in the morning session, we certainly have resistance here for the SPY coming right into there, right? So you can see already the seller's starting to step in. So the VIX is something that I want to be looking at here. So the VIX, once again, it's still taking its time, but it's holding in there. If you take a look at the XIV pattern, we actually have a broadening wedge happening here, right? So we have this broadening wedge, otherwise known as a megaphone, and what usually happens with these megaphones is the way they resolve themselves is that they either break down and they break out of this this area here to go lower, or they turn into another consolidation pattern. So they may actually turn into something like a triangle here, and we kind of have the beginnings of one now, depending how it plays out. But we have the beginning of a triangle, which that simply indicates consolidation, right? So we have some expansion energy, and then we have some compression of energy as the buyers and sellers kind of have a stalemate. And then that break out of this consolidation pattern will really give us the signal in terms of which direction we're going to take. So right now we're in stocking mode. I think there's going to be good opportunity here shortly as the market's going to choose a direction to go one way or the other. Okay, 952. Jolt's number coming out at 10. I don't think it's going to be significant, but could be the catalyst to help us with our directional play. Alright, so the Jolt's number just came out. I think the markets are reacting by going to the downside. You can see SPY had this reaction there. And so now we expect the continuation to the downside. The XIV had been trying to catch some strength, but you can see what just happened here. It was trying to consolidate below its opening range high, but as you can see now it's beginning to break down. So, in the next couple of moments here, we should have a decent understanding of where it's going to go. I think the expectation at this point now is that the move to the upside has failed. So, folks who are still holding on too tightly to their positions here, they're probably going to get stopped out if they're trying to go long SPY or the broader markets. You know, this thing is definitely going to break down now. You can see it now. It's, you know, has broken beneath that previous low. So the way I want to express this trade is I'm looking at VIX, right? We're still stuck on the VIX. The VIX is slowly moving up. You know, it's really honoring this uptrend that's been in place since yesterday, right? It started since yesterday, and it's kind of honoring this kind of channel that's in here. So I want to see this guy begin to make some some productive consolidation, and then either break into the upside or break into the downside with some force here. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Okay, 10:02. All right, quick update. So long XIV. So out of all that, looks like XIV is breaking to the upside. So I had the expectation there that the VIX was going to pop, but it looked like it was going to pop to the upside. But in fact, the opposite occurred, which is which is why it's important to have the flexibility. So went long VIX now. XIV. You know, the VIX broke down, right? So we had drawn in that channel. It broke out of that channel on some increased volume. So at this point here, I expect the VIX to begin to sell off. So, you know, VIX is at its opening range lows now, breaking through its opening range lows. SPY is back into its opening ranges, so that's productive for the SPY. It really looked like for a second there that it was going to go down. The buyer stepped in, as you can see by the volume. The buyer stepped in, and now they push it higher. So the momentum here, based on this bar alone, you know, that's an engulfing bar. But you can see what's more important is the momentum, right? The momentum that's pushing this price action to the upside, that's significant. So we want to be honoring that and trading the direction of momentum, because momentum, if you recall, really precedes price. So let's manage our XIV position along at 2306. We have unfilled gap on the XIV way up at 2417. That's pretty far up there right now, but I'm going to go ahead and indicate that in my charts all the way up here, so we have a record of it. So let me just oops, 2417. Let's put it there. All right. So let's give it some room to wiggle around now, and let's manage the trade as always. 10:06. Quick update. So far, pretty uneventful trade. Hasn't really gone anywhere yet. As you can see from the VIX, it's been trying to kind of crack above its opening range lows. Although, you know, the opening range lows are still acting as a resistance, as well as this trend line, right? So this trend line that was support previously has now become resistance. You can see it's tapping and tapping against it. It has been unable to break above that. So that's good for the XIV. The XIV, you know, is basically the mirror opposite of this price action. We've been tapping on the opening range highs, you know, just kind of consolidating here, which is productive. So I'm not too worried about this position right now because it's really acting the way it's supposed to act. That is to, you know, stay above its opening range highs and consolidate these levels. You know, we have a bit of a pattern here now. You can see it right away, you know, by just eyeballing it. You know, you can see that that pattern there. At the same time, you know, the SPY, even the, you know, let's take a look at the, well, let's keep on the SPY. It's consolidating right above its opening range lows, so it's still ping-ponging in between these ranges here. So it's not going anywhere. The interesting thing is this week to note is that the Dow, represented by the YM here, has actually been relatively stronger than the ES. So you can see that the YM is actually up about 0.1% or 0.1%, and the ES is actually down 0.1%. So take that for what it is, right? So we have the Dow stocks actually acting stronger than the S&P stocks. So maybe it's a flight into the bigger cap names as people are going into the Dow stocks, because relatively wise, it's been the stronger sector, or the stronger index, I mean. So on the YM, you can see the price action difference, right? It's actually consolidating around its opening range highs, and contrast that with the the ES, and that's consolidating around its opening range lows, right? So that's quite unusual, because usually they trade very much similarly in terms of correlations. So we'll give this guy room to move. XIV is looking good right now, like it's above its opening range highs. So at this point, there's no reason to try to manage that trade any more than we need to. All right, and I'm also trying to get long on another trade here, AG. I'm stocking AG right now, which is First Majestic Silver. I want to be long here at 666, and here we go. Just got long on that little blip right there. So I am now long AG as well. Nice consolidation here around the opening range highs. Volume supporting this breakout right there above the opening range high. Now we have volume also picking up here. So this is a very nice. So long now AG and XIV. 1024. All right, quick update. XIV finally made its move, so popped to the upside. We're up roughly about 0.1 R now. Roughly up 1 R. And if we take a look at the larger time frame, this is what it's good to look at. We had a break. This is the 15-minute chart. We had a break above the opening range high here. We had some consolidation. All the moving averages are basically pointing in favor, right? So this is what made it a number of things that were confluent in that trade. We really had to, there was a bit of resistance here, right? Like from the previous day, the opening range highs at 2311, but that really just popped right through. So at 2311, this area here, it just popped right through it, and it really had no strong resistance there. So that's quite productive. We pushed through that area now. Let's see how much momentum there is to the upside. Quick update on the YM. See, the YM has also begun to break to the upside, right? So this is good that it's doing the same thing. It still has to clear its opening range high on the 15-minute chart. So right there, right now, right? If you really want to see a continued run, you'd want to see it close above this opening range high within the next 2 minutes. It's 10:28 right now. And SPY, just to let's do the ES since we're doing the futures there. SPY, you were getting close to the opening range high. ES is getting close to the opening range highs here. So this is quite productive. We look at our VIX. Look at the VIX here. You can see that it's. I can bring it up here. It has broken down now, right? So you can see that it has materially broken down. We can clearly draw in that downtrend now, indicating that it's in a downtrend. All right, so 1028, and AG is also moving slightly higher, although at this point here it's still moving quite slow. Okay, 1028. Another quick update. So XIV is now up plus 2R. Trailed my stuff to plus 1R, 2320. And if we take a look now at the YM, that's broken to the upside, so that's very productive. We talked about having to hold above the opening range high in the 15-minute chart. That's exactly what happened. We had a nice strong hammer as well, and we now have a continuation to the upside. The ES now is doing its thing, so it's now moving towards the opening range high. That's quite productive. One final update is on my AG position. AG is beginning to move in my favor now, slowly. It's currently at that area there. Whoops, that's kind of a small chart. There we go. And closing in on my plus 1R target. Okay, it is now 10:36. Alright, quick updates. So XIV position up roughly plus 3R. Move my stop to plus 2R. AG position has also moved into the money, up roughly plus 1 R right now. And if we take a look at the longer time frame, this is the AG chart. So AG looking pretty good at this point. I'm just going to draw in some of my Fibonacci's that I like to look at, and just project some possible areas for it to get to. So 690 is a quite reasonable place for it to get to based upon the Fibonacci targets, which would put me in a good place of around plus 3R of a gain. Now, if we take a look back here on some of the other indices, YM here is doing well now, getting a little extended away from its moving averages, but at this point here, I think it's still in a good place. XIV we talked about already. ES now also has broken above its opening range high, right? That's what we were waiting for. We were waiting for a close above its opening range high, and now we really want to see it take off from here. Just a quick analysis of the overall sectors. So, pretty much everything here now except for of healthcare is in green. Look at the big difference. It's the market difference when we looked at it, in the beginning of the session, right? Industrials leading the pack, followed by basic materials, followed by energy. Okay, so clearly the growth story is back on again. And then the one that's trailing is healthcare and utilities. So right now we're in trade management mode, and let's see where it goes from here. 10:46. All right, quick update. AG just hit plus 2R, so AG is moving around nicely now. Nice strong uptrend, right? You can see that nice strong uptrend there. So I got a target of 690. I'd like to see it get up to that area there. XIV still moving. It's kind of consolidating here, getting close to its target of 2351. It actually hit a high of 2350. So I wouldn't be surprised if that caps it in the short term. But right now, the buyers are in control. If you're a seller right now, you're kind of in the wrong place, so you're kind of holding your shorts, hoping to get out at a better place, because VIX has really collapsed here, and the ES is still getting strength. Although this here is a little bit, you want to see a little bit more movement out of this bar. This is not a great bar. You'd want to see that guy actually gain a little more strength. All right, so 10:53. Another quick update. So AG just hit my plus 3R targets, so move my stop now to plus 2R. And of course, XIV is also right around plus 3R, so I'm actually moving my stop to plus 2R. So regardless, what happens on these two trades, I'm going to be up plus 4R for the day. Minus a bit of slippage, but overall, pretty good trading day. Read the markets properly, was flexible in the beginning there. Especially, I had the bias in the beginning, perhaps that the VIX would be the instrument in play today, but we saw how it played out. The VIX did not get the relative strength, and so we piled into XIV. You can see now, we have another pop here on XIV. The buyers are stepping in, pushing it higher. Next target is 2364, and at this point here, the buyers are in control, so nothing to do except press the pedal to the metal and kind of squeeze those shorts who were in the wrong place at the wrong time. 10:59. Another quick update. AG just hit plus 4R. And trailer stops to plus 3R on AG. Likewise, trailed my stop to plus 3R on XIV. So worst comes to worst now, we're going to be at plus 6R for the day, plus minus some slippage if we get stopped out on these two positions. So at this point, again, still in management mode. I think the YM here, or excuse me, the XIV is a little bit stuck here at this place. The ES, if you take a look at it, we talked about this condition here with this bar kind of being floating kind of far from its moving average. It's a bit of a shows you a bit that it's gone a bit too far too quickly, so it might need some more time to consolidate. All right, so 1109 plus 6R on both positions, so we're locked in. All right, final update for this trading session. Just stopped myself out at 2362 on the XIV. I didn't like the fact that it's kind of been churning around, and that it basically broke below the low of this bar here at 2362. And so it's possible that it could go higher. But at this point here, I've captured plus 4R on that trade, or close to plus 4R on that trade, which is a a good risk to reward. And I saw the broader markets beginning to get soft as well. If we take a look at the ES, for instance, the ES was getting soft here, and I see that we kind of have we do have some lower highs at this point. Not kind of, we do have lower highs. So it's certainly possible the market can rally further. But at this point here, that it's getting close to the noon hour, comfortable taking off that position and resetting again, and perhaps looking for something other opportunities this afternoon. But good trading today, plus 4R on this ES trade, on this XIV trade, close to plus 4R. Took it off a little bit before 4R. And of course we got the AG trade as well, which I think we caught, if I recall, like plus 3R. That's right, plus 3R on the AG trade. And that guy's still hanging in where we took profits. Alright, so nice day today. Plus 3, plus 4, plus 7R day today. So that's a decent end result. Happy trading.